Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good afternoon, and welcome to Tony Commander BVUILDING Chesson talk show. Today, the topic of my lesson is nation building. You know, every day we talk about our nation and people, how we need to change, what we need to do to help elevate the standard of living in our country. All of this has to do with nation building. Our approach towards how we view the way things supposed to occur in our country. That includes our standard of living. That includes our disciplinary approach to governance and how we lead our people. That includes how we view ourselves at home and on the international scene. Because how we view ourselves enable us to view how we live our lives. Those things that impact our society and our people. So let's take a look at nation building. What it was in the past, what it has been, and what we hope it will be. Nation building is not an easy task. It doesn't only involve the governing leadership apparatus of the country. No, it involves the whole nation. There are three components to nation building. One, you have the people. We the people. Two, we have the ideology. What is going to drive us towards nation building? What is going to motivate us to put our ideals together, to come together as one, believing in one principle, unification, integration, and how it can help us, motivate us to lay the foundation for our country and the future of our nation. Then finally, we have nation building. You have the people, you have the idea, then you have the implementation, which is the process of nation building. We, the people, over the years, have not done right by our country. We are a young nation. Our nation was just founded in 1847. But unlike other African nations that are younger than us, Ghana, Nigeria, all of them that started a nation in the 1960s, have advanced more than us. Why? Because they are not only governed by Africans, they are governed by foreign nations too. And those foreign peoples are the leading peoples in the world of nations today. So they ensure that the investment in those African nations that were colonized is maintained. That's why you see Nigeria, Ghana, all the countries developing because of the Western influence. And because the white man will not let these Africans mess up their investment in Africa. Okay? Those colonial colonists, those former colonists have a mandate from their former masters to maintain their investments in those countries, despite the fact that they are no longer the leaders of those countries indirectly. The leaders of the countries today have to maintain it at a standard that will protect the investment of their foreign colonial masters. That's why you see Nigeria, Ghana, and all those colonial countries in West Africa are maintaining a certain standard of leadership that surpasses Liberia, because Liberia does not have a colonial master. We run our own country, so corruption cannot be checked. Mismanagement is loose and rampant. Inefficiency is terrible. The stealing It's out of control. Why? Because we have no foreign masters to ensure that the investment in Liberia is protected. So we are controlling everything that we have. And we think that we have a right to steal it, to do anything we want to do, to run it the way certain families and people want to do it. That is killing our country. That is destroying our nation. That is against good governance and leadership. We are the masters of our country. I keep telling you all this thing. Now one group of people. This is not the Tutma administration. This is not the Congo People administration, where certain families felt that they had the right to manipulate our society and control it. We can't continue to have that. We cannot move the Congo people and put the country people in to do the same thing. No, we cannot do that. We cannot do that. We have gotten rid of the Congo people. This is the government of the Liberian people. Now we got to ensure that the laws and principles that will govern a united nation as ours are enforced. We got to ensure that. We don't want special families. We don't want selected group of people who claim that to be our leaders. No. We are the leaders of our country. All of us. We don't want any Congo people or country people who think it's special. No. The time for that thing is over. This is the Liberian people country now. We have to ensure that there are no special groups of people in our country that claim to be leaders or owners of Liberia. We are all owners of our country. How do we ensure that? We got to make sure that our government lives up to our constitution and what they say they will do. We have the process of election. And during this process, people make promises to us to gain our trust and confidence, to win our votes. If we emulate the system in America, we copy it. Let's copy it the right way. Let's copy it the right way. People who want to lead the Republic of Liberia and make promises to us must live up to those promises. And let me tell you, Liberian people, the time for holding our government on special platters, on special standards, are over. The time for doing those things are over. Everything our government do, we analyze it and we scrutinize it. We hold their feet to the fire. We will criticize them and we hold them to the fire. Our country got to change. Our people's minds and lifestyles got to improve. We cannot do it by pampering bad governance, by being quiet and silent when we see things going wrong and we don't put a nip to stopping it. It comes back to haunt us. We are the people guilty for neglecting the development of our nation. We can't do it no more. So where do we start this process of nation building? With the people. I told you there are three components. We're starting with the people. We, the Liberian people, got to become conscious of what we want in our country, how we want it to occur, what we expect of our leaders today. We, the Liberian people, have the power to ensure that our leaders do the right thing. We cannot continue to pamper our leaders. We cannot continue to put them on special platters or special platforms where we pamper them. we guide and protect them in everything they do. No, we can't do that. The time for that is over. We are the masters of our destiny. We are the leaders of our country. We cannot put that responsibility in the hands of any special group of people or any one leader. It is up to us to ensure that our government does what they say it will do. And we hold them to the fire. This is no time to play with Bokar or Ellen Johnson Sirleaf or any of the crooked people who've been leading us for the past 16 years. We hold their feet to the fire. They better do what they say they will do. Rise up, patriots. Rise up, my patriots. We are the people of Liberia. We got to become conscious. If our level of consciousness does not rise up, our nation will die. Our level of consciousness has to and must improve for our nation to change. Our eyes got to open. We got to hold our leaders' feet to the fire, not joking, not fooling around. We are not breaking our country down when we hold them to the fire. We're not destroying our country when we hold their feet to the fire. We are not destroying anything when we want to make sure that our leaders do what they say they're going to do, because we're not joking with them. We're not fooling around with them. We're not playing with them. They better do it. And you Liberian people, you better wake up. Okay? All this for peace sake, and let's peace, let bygone be bygone, and all that bullshit got to stop. It got to stop. This is our country and our livelihood. Look at our nation. We are one of the poorest and most disgusting people on the earth. The way we're living. It can't continue. To change all of that, we got to become conscious of nation building. We got to become conscious of our condition as a people. We got to become conscious of the need to change our standard of living and rise up from mediocrity. Okay? Our country can't change if the masses of our people are living in slumber. Okay? Living as slaves and animals. Our country can't improve. We got to take care of the poorest among us. Those of us that have been blessed got to take care of the poorest among us and make sure that they have some standard of living equitable to ours. Equitable. I didn't say equal. Equitable. Okay? Decent. Fit for human beings. We got to change the standard of living of our people, man. Our people living in swamps and all of that. And we got the ability and money to build local houses and things like that. And our people just stealing the money, just taking it for them and their families. It can't go on, my people. You know it's not right. You know it's not right, man. And the Sam Twe, they got Akaris Gray, all the damn rogues. They are rogues. They're talking about they didn't want to prosecute the rogues from the last government. Let's prosecute them. People who don't want to set standards got to be made examples of. Because our country can't go on. We can't continue on this path if we want to build our country. We got to show that we have levels of consciousness that are viable and comparable to nation building. You got to be conscious. You got to have some level of consciousness to be comparable to your level of nation building. When we look at our country right now, the way our living is so low and terrible, it is an indication that our levels of consciousness are not compatible to nation building. They're too low. Our level of, you look at our country, you look at the way we're living, it tells the world that our level of consciousness as low as animals in the forest. Because when the animals live like the way we're living, We got water in our homes, walking around in water, species everywhere, dirt and trash everywhere. How can we be healthy? Our health care is in jeopardy. Our children, their future in jeopardy. Come on, man, my people. How long will go on like this? How long? They're not decent living. Every time I think of my country and the condition of my people, I think on the little children taking water from the swamp. The water coming out of the ground, taking the water to go drink, to go bathe with, using cups to sift the water out. Hey, man, how can we live like that, man? How can we continue to live like that? It's not right for us, man. Yes, in the past, we had a privileged few. That's why we had a civil war for. That's why we had a coup d'etat for. To change all of that, man. We have 14 years of nightmare in our country, where our people had no sense of survival, man. No sense of life. 14 years. People were just killed, robbed, destroyed. Lives were messed up. 14 years. Now we're still striving and feeling the remnants of the 14 years. But we can't continue like this, man. We got to change. And as I told you yesterday during my class, we need a mental revolution. Our minds got to change overnight. The nation building. We got to pay attention to somebody, man. To some teacher among us. We got to pay attention and do what they say for us to rise fast. We can't do it on our own. We need guidance. We need direction. We need somebody to tell us what to do. And that's why I'm here. This is why I'm doing this, to tell my Liberian people what to do, what we need to do. I've been talking for 20 years, 30 years. I've been telling us what to do. All my buddies there, man, I've been telling them, I said, let's come together and raise money. Look at all my friends on the internet everywhere. They poor. They're like church rats. All of them poor. Right? You got $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Even you got $20,000, $30,000. They're not money. They're not money. Even you got $100,000. They're not money. If you're not making the same $100,000 every year, they're not money. It will go to that. Believe me. You can lose $100 overnight, $100,000. You will not know how it went. We gotta have real money, man. You gotta understand what real money is. Not 1,000, 2,000, 100,000. No, man. People play with billions of dollars, man. One year that $20 billion years in California, or 50 billion years. You know what that means? You know what $1 billion is? Why we can't achieve that? We can't do that. But with the petty stealing, with the petty corruption, with the womanizing, you can't realize anything. You can't. You can't. So we need a revolution, a mental revolution, to change how we think, to change how we behave. Because the way we think and behave now is mediocre. If we're poor people, we always stay poor like that. We'll always be poor. Because living day by day, we can't survive like that. We got to invest. We got to make some big investment. Find out what you can do. Come together. One person can't do it. Look at all these big businesses in America. They're not about one person. They're either about families. And when they talk about families, they're not one person either. How many people in the family? There are big families that can run business. Look at my family. My father got 20 children. Now, if all my brothers and sisters were conscious like the way I've been telling them, let's come together and raise money, that they do something constructive with our family. We can't just be brothers and sisters, hi. We want to come together when people in trouble or when we have financial issue in the family. That's the only time we come together. No. With 20 people in the family, we should be able to raise money. Where all of us got, all my 5 children almost got college degrees. But they don't see the wisdom to come together. So everybody doing their own thing when we can be our own employers. We can do business to employ ourselves. But they don't see it of that. And when people don't see it, you can't force them. I talked to my mom people, they couldn't see it. I talked to my pa people, they can't see it. I can't force them. I gotta find people that think like me, that believe in what I believe in. And that's the same thing with you, Liberian people. Look at I was listening to Steve Boley's show on what they call that show? What he showing that TV, and Canon TV or something like that, KMTV or something like that. I was watching Steve Boley talking about the same thing, you know, about how Liberians behave. It's not right. We can't trust each other to work together. Our people not serious enough in Liberia. You try to direct them, give them money and to do the right thing. They don't want it. They want the money, but they want it to do what they want to do. They don't want it to build business so the money can come continuously. They don't understand that concept. No, their concept is just to take the money and waste the money right away. Use it for your desire, not for your needs. And we can't continue to that because that's the same habit people take to our government. They get there, they take our resources and they're wasting, mismanaging, think it for them, forgetting that they are given a responsibility to ensure that the resources of Liberian people grow and prosper, and benefit us. But they don't see it that because in their own lives, they don't have any positive examples. And when you don't have it in your own lives, how will you bring it to the table for other people to learn and benefit? It can't happen. It can't happen. So this is why we need a revolution. We need a mental revolution. All you young Liberian children, pay attention to what I'm saying. Because if you change your lives now and start thinking in this positive direction, everything you want will come onto you. That's a blessing. But if you keep on this road of self-destruction and mismanagement and irresponsibility, our country will never grow. My message is especially for the young Liberian people. The old Liberian fixing their mindset. All they want to do is politics. Everybody wants power in Liberia. They don't want to learn how to rule. They don't want to learn the essence of governance and direction. But all they want to do is just go and rule. Do the same thing Tuckman did in our country. They can never stop the corruption, the stealing, and the mismanagement of our natural resources. The time of the Liberian people is now. Okay? So, those are the things we are faced with. There are challenges. And the greatest challenge we have right now is our mental challenge. Our minds got to change. The way we think got to change. If it doesn't change, nothing will change. Nothing will change. We have to get a patriotic mindset. A mindset that tells us that stealing and corruption in government is bad for our country. And we as Liberian people cannot condone nor tolerate those bad habits. As patriots, we have innate obligations to ensure that our nation lives and survives. And only we, the Liberian people, can do that through our love for our country. through our commitment to ensure that all the laws we put down are implemented, that our resources are kept secure for our future generation. You know, under the law, our children can sue us if we mismanage the resources of our nation. Our children can sue us because as Liberian leaders, I tell you, we are all leaders. We have an obligation to secure our resources, our nation, for our posterity, our children. We have a responsibility to build, to grow our nation, to improve our nation for them, not to deplete our resources, not to tear our nation apart, not to bomb our infrastructure and break it down. No, we have an obligation to our posterity, to our children, to ensure that they start off on a good footing, that they have the foundation of life, that they don't have to start from scratch. We have done that through our sacrifices for them. Now they will come and make those sacrifices they have to do for the future generation. That's why our nation is always improving, is always growing. Things are always changing. The future is not the same as the past because each generation has an obligation to make advancements for the next generation. They are our children. We can't let them come into this world with nothing and survive on nothing when we have made the sacrifices for them to have the initial footing of all the things they need to survive. That's why we came first, to prepare the way. That's why Jesus came and he told us, our master, I come to prepare the way for you, that you may be with me. And that's what our duty are to our children and our future generation. So 30 minutes of talking is enough. My class is done for today. I just want to reiterate the important things I said to you today. One, nation building is not easy. We have the responsibility to prepare our nation, to maintain it, to grow it for our children. There are three components to nation building. And all three of those components are significant for us in understanding what our duties and responsibilities are to secure our nation for our future posterity. One is the people. We, the people, have to develop a consciousness that will set the stage for us to identify what kind of standard of living we want. Two is the standard of living we choose. We call it ideology. It can be democracy, it can be communism, it can be fascism, whatever we choose. Now we choose democracy because we feel it's the best for our people and our nation. So let's improve it. Every nation has its own type of democracy because every democracy has to fit in the locality for which it is made to enforce, to be enforced. So every nation got their own type of democracy. We have our type of democracy, and if that's what we choose, that means that's the way of life we want for our society. The ideology, that's the second component. And the third component is the implementation of our ideology, which we call nation building. And it's incumbent upon every one of us. I tell you, from 16 years old onward, we have a responsibility to grow Liberia, to protect Liberia, and to stop corruption. My class is done. Jesus Christ is our God. Nothing is an obstacle for us, only ourselves. The time of the Liberian people is now. Baluta continua. Have a good day. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourself. I'll see you tomorrow.